So Chris, I understand that you initially turned down this role. Why was that?
There was a couple reasons. First off, it was a big commitment. It's a 6-picture deal, and 6 movies. They can spread that out over a long period of time, and that's a big decision to make for that big of a chunk of time. And the worry was that if one of the films comes out, and if the first film does well, and if there's a big shift in lifestyle, I've made movies for a while, but I've never really had to change too much about how I live. And if this movie affected that, I didn't know how I would respond. And the problem is, if I didn't respond well, there's no opportunity to retreat. There's no chance to say, you know what, I got to take a break. I'd like to go back to Boston, maybe reassess, get my head back on straight. 6-picture gig, it's basically like, well, guess what? You got to work again in 3 months, so figure it out. And that was just intimidating.
So what was it that won you over in the end?
It was that it was so scary. The fact that I was so scared of it, it just kind of felt like that's exactly what you should be doing. Anything you're scared of, you should push yourself to do it.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Were you a fan of Captain America or comic books in general?
No, not at all. I didn't grow up reading comic books. I knew of Captain America, but I didn't really grow up doing the comic book thing.
What kind of training did you have to go into for this? Because I understand everyone went through some military training.
I didn't get to do much military training, which lends itself to the fact that when I'm in the military training phase of the film, I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah.
But he's supposed to be clunky. He's supposed to be awkward. The training we worked on was just weight training, getting big, which was difficult.
Yeah, what was that like? Because, you really buffed up for this, big time.
Yeah, it was, they sent a trainer out from London. I was doing a film in Boston prior to this. So for about 3 months, we trained in Boston, and it was a couple hours a day, and it was brutal. The tricky part was eating.
You have to eat lots?
Just eating everything all the time.
That sounds awful.
See, you think it sounds nice, but it's not just like cheeseburgers. You have to eat like these just bland, naked pieces of chicken and rice, and it's not that appetizing.
Right.
And you're just so full. It's a pretty uncomfortable feeling.
Well, it paid off. You looked amazing. So it's all worth it in the end. We just spoke to Hayley, and she said, the highlight of shooting the movie was the moment where you come out of the pod and she kind of fell on top of you.
Boob squeeze.
Yeah. What was that like for you?
That was a nerve-wracking day of filming. We did all this training specifically for that scene. That scene is the reveal. That's the birth of Captain America. So we really wanted to make sure it had an impact. It was a lot of working out that day. A lot of anytime they yelled cut, I ran off the set and I was just lifting weights and doing push-ups. So the whole day was pretty exhausting. It was actually a 3 or 4 day process to film the whole scene. So by the end of that week, I think I slept for 3 days.
Wow. Well, then you've also got this beautiful woman with her hands on you, so it's really
could be worse.
Yeah, life could be a lot worse. Tell me about the Avengers, because you've already filmed it, or you're filming it at the moment?
We're halfway through.
Wow. So how's that going? That's such an incredible cast.
It's going great. It's going great. It's an intimidating thing to approach because there are such experienced and talented actors, but it couldn't be going better. Everyone is so fantastic and so supportive, and I know it sounds cliche, but it really does feel like a team.
Yeah. What was it like for you the first time you put on the red, blue, and white Captain America suit?
It was terrifying. I was terrified just because the first time I put the suit on, I was still a little apprehensive about the job. So the first time I put it on, it was kind of like, oh man, what have I got myself into? But over the course of filming and working with Joe and Kevin and just kind of going through the creative process, which really was fantastic on this film, I started to warm up to it, and now I kind of love it.
Yeah, good. I heard you recently say that you make a great date. Can you please elaborate for all the fans out there?
I heard that too. So funny, you reporters. You pick one sentence and it's like, Chris Evans says he makes a great dick. What a dick.
No, it's not a bad thing.
It was in the context of somebody asking me, am I still chivalrous? Does chivalry live on in your lifestyle? And I said, absolutely, absolutely. My mother made a point of, you hold the door for women, you pull the chair out, you pay for the meal. That's important. And as a result, someone said, so you're a great date? And I said, yeah, I think I'm a great date. And they said, Chris Evans thinks he's a great date.
And there's the article.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, I also heard you say that you'd like to be Tom Cruise.
Yeah, you want to hear that one too?
Yeah.
I was doing a press junket, and the director down the hall said he's like a young Tom Cruise. And someone came in and said, so the director said you're like a young Tom Cruise. And I said, oh, that's What an honor. I mean, I'd love to be Tom Cruise. Chris Evans would love to be Tom Cruise. A bunch of vultures.
But you would like to be Tom Cruise, right? Come on.
Well, you might like to be Tom Cruise too. Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
But now here we go. Here we go. We're gonna do this all over again. I mean, who wouldn't love to be Tom Cruise?